am the president and CEO of Best Way Express, which is a trucking and logistics company that's located here in Vincennes. This community has a long and rich history of entrepreneurship amongst its community members. My family's blessed to have that same spirit in our blood, as we've been in the trucking and logistics industry for nearly 75 years. It all started with my grandfather, C. James McCormick. Jim, as his peers would call him, came from humble beginnings where he was raised on our family's farm just 3 miles south of town. If he were alive today, Grandpa would tell you that he always had a love for big engines. In 1946, he mustered up enough money to purchase a rickety old truck in an effort to run produce out of Knox County up to Chicago, Illinois, multiple times a week. After 2 years of running produce, an incredible opportunity presented itself for him to establish a dual-threat dealership here in Knox County. In 1948, C. James McCormick established McCormick, Inc., which sold Packard automobiles and white autocar heavy-duty semi-trucks. Throughout the years, brands came and went at the dealership. However, McCormick, Inc. was best known for selling both Volvo and Freightliner brands for the majority of its time in business. The dealership serviced Indiana and its surrounding states for nearly 60 years before selling in the early 2000s. During his time in the dealership business, an opportunity to get back into trucking and logistics presented itself. In 1954, C. James purchased an already established trucking company called INS Motor Express. As the business thrived under his leadership, another opportunity presented itself in the mid-1960s where he was able to purchase a trucking company called McDaniel Freight Lines. Following this purchase, Grandpa merged his two companies to become INS McDaniel, which became a powerhouse in the less-than-truckload environment within our industry and had hubs located in 5 different states across the country. INS McDaniel was a staple in this community until 1976 when Grandpa sold the company. In 1981, the dealership had to repossess 3 trucks they had sold previously that year. As payment, Grandpa accepted the Gentleman's Trucking Authority, which at the time was needed in order to haul any type of commodity or product commercially. In the early 1980s, the country was going through a recession, so these types of things were happening all over the place. During this time, C. James' son, my father, Mac McCormick, was working in the dealership and was responsible for managing the parts department. After establishing the new authority and repossessing the trucks, Grandpa decided that it was time for a change. He pulled my father out of the parts department, as well as his brother Pat, who was working elsewhere at the time, and together they started Best Way Express. Best Way Express started out by hauling furniture products from Jasper, Indiana, out to New York City and other East Coast customers. In order to get back to the Midwest so that we could haul more furniture products, they would load and haul trash out of the Big Apple and deliver and dump it back into the Indianapolis area. Believe it or not, that used to be legal. My father knew that hauling furniture and trash probably was not sustainable for the long term, so shortly after starting the business, he began looking for different types of commodities to haul. My father had a friend who was a local businessman who had a fleet of around 20 trucks. Collectively, they decided to merge their companies, and the beauty of this transaction was that his new partner controlled the freight for the local Johnson Controls automotive plant that was here in Vincennes. Best Way Express very quickly began to grow. We started with 3 trucks, but within 5 years, we had grown to over 100 trucks. After proving ourselves here locally, an opportunity came for us to manage the Johnson Controls plant down in Cadiz, Kentucky. 3 short years after setting up shop in western Kentucky, Best Way Express was then offered to manage the Johnson Controls facility in Georgetown, Kentucky, which is eastern Kentucky. Because of these big moves, the company quickly found itself servicing 27 states and Ontario. The company continued to grow under the leadership of Mac McCormick until his untimely passing in 2006. At that time, I had just graduated college 6 months prior to his death. I was working in the operations department trying to learn the ropes from the inside out. I was very fortunate to have a strong leadership team within our walls at Best Way Express when tragedy hit. Without that leadership, I'm really not sure what would have happened, but I do firmly believe that things happen for a reason. It was a rough go for a few years, but as fate would have it, things began to turn around quickly, and our growth plan continued to move forward. We've come a long way since the trash days, not only from the size of our company, but probably more importantly, the commodities that we haul today. If you fast forward nearly 40 years, you will find yourself sitting here today. To date, Best Way Express employs roughly 300 employees. We specialize in just-in-time solutions for the automotive industry across the country. But recently, we've had the opportunity to get into the transportation of bourbon and spirits throughout the Midwest, South, and Southeastern states. Furthermore, we are one of only a handful of carriers in the United States that focus on alternative fuels in our trucks. We have multiple divisions and 3 different hubs throughout multiple states. None of this legacy would have been possible without the spirit that my grandfather instilled in all of us. There's one thing that my grandfather and my father have taught me, is that if you dream big, sometimes you end up in big places and you have the opportunity to do big things. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to become involved with InVin while it was still in its infancy. Very early on, we bought this old building that you're sitting in today with the purpose of preserving it. It was an empty and dilapidated space, but we had a vision to turn it into something vibrant and beautiful, something that our community could really be proud of. It's no secret that initially people thought that we were nuts. However, shortly after the vision began to come to fruition, attitudes started to change. The idea of creating a co-working space and a business incubator within this historical theater represents this community's desire to rekindle the entrepreneurial spirit in the pursuit of a more vibrant and prosperous local economy. The Pantheon is economic development infrastructure for the 21st century. Thank you to the city and the county leaders who accepted the sometimes heavy burden of the kind of leadership involved with supporting new ideas. It has not been easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. You are carrying on the pioneering spirit that made this the first city in Indiana. Thank you also to the KCDC for the support of this proposal. It's extremely heartwarming to see that this community has come together as one in order to get important things such as this project done. So without further delay, I'd like to welcome and introduce a very special guest who brings us very good news today. Mr. Dana Gartzke is performing the delegated duties of the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Economic Development with the U.S. Department of Commerce through the Economic Development Administration. Mr. Gartzke, welcome to our community, and thank you for taking the time this morning to come to Vincennes. Please give him a warm Knox County welcome.
This is the nice part, right here. It comes on. Good morning. Thank you, Eli. Appreciate your comments and your history with your family here in Vincennes. It should be inspiring to all of us. Mayor Yoakum, thank you. It's great to be in your city this morning and to see and to share this moment here in this theater with you. I know we have some other elected officials here from the council. I met Bob a little bit earlier. Lechner, where are you? Thank you. Yep. And from the commission as well, I believe Trent, yes, back here in the corner. It's great to have you all part of this effort as well, and appreciate your support for this project and everything that it took to get to this moment. Also want to recognize Greg and Matt with SIDC and their efforts, and Chris with KCDC, who I met earlier as well. Strategic partners in helping us achieve what we've been able to do by working diligently to make this day happen. And Allie with Congressman Bouchon's office is with us as well. It's great to have that representation here and your participation. And again, this is a community effort, and it's great to see the turnout. Also like to recognize my Chief of Staff, Garth Van Meter, over here in the corner, and Kyle Darton, who's our Economic Development Representative out of the Chicago office, who was so helpful in orchestrating this project. Again, it's great to be in Vincennes today. Vincennes is certainly a town with a very distinguished history. It's the first and oldest settlement here in this great state, and it's home, as you know, to the 9th U.S. President, William Harrison, who is the grandson of one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Harrison. And William was also what? The grandfather of the 23rd president, another Benjamin Harrison, the only grandfather-grandson duo ever to pull that off. The U.S. Navy has seen fit to name one of their ships not once, but 4 times after this great city. And of course, this legendary hall and theater, the Pantheon, where we stand today, had so many greats come and entertain the citizens here in Vincennes. Vincennes is clearly Americana at its best. And today we're here to talk about the next important step for this famed theater. As many of you know, EDA is committed to supporting locally driven strategies designed to spur on private investment and create jobs. Here in Vincennes, your economy is looking to become more diversified and more outreaching. You've got some terrific assets to build on in this region. My Chicago office informed me that there are 12,000 businesses with 100 or fewer employees right here in this region. To support them, the regional study of entrepreneur capacity was conducted, and it recommended creation of a dedicated space to strengthen this regional entrepreneur ecosystem. In addition, Knox County and the city commissioned another separate feasibility study and identified significant gaps in the local ecosystem, as well as significant demand by business development services for existing businesses, aspiring entrepreneurs, freelancers, independent economy workers. Today, I'm here and pleased to be with you to share the good news that we will help you grow and build your entrepreneurial system so that you can continue to diversify your great economy here. It's my pleasure to announce that EDA is awarding the town of Vincennes $732,080 to grant a renovation of this historic Pantheon Theater. Do you like how precise we were? That $80, that last $80, I'm sure was very meaningful. You'll have to tell me what you ended up using it for, okay? This grant will convert the theater to a shared workspace and training center to house and support entrepreneurs and small businesses with new equipment like 3D printers, laser etching, a CNC machine, and other support services. And EDA's grant is going to be matched with more than $833,000 in local funds. And this is all expected to create or retain 50 jobs and generate $7 million of new private investment. The Pantheon project will create a fundamental economic infrastructure that currently doesn't exist in Knox County or even in the wider region. And we're pleased to support your strategy to diversify this economic base. Once, these halls heard the likes of Red Skelton, Duke Ellington, Will Rogers, and many others. They brought fun and economic vibrancy to this community, but I look forward to hearing about the new famed names, the new Thomas Edisons, the new Otis Boykins, who will create and birth new and wonderful ideas and inventions, all right here in Vincennes. It will be a new chapter for this Pantheon. I'd like to acknowledge the contribution again of Matt and Greg and the Southern Indiana Development Commission to bringing this project to fruition. EDA funds economic development districts like them to help bring together public and private sectors to create an economic development roadmap, which is so crucial to strengthening any local economy, to support new private capital investment in that region to create new jobs. So thank you again, SIDC. The good news does not stop there. I also want to point out that this project is located in an opportunity zone. Why is that important? Opportunity zones were created under the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act passed by the President and Congress. They were designed to stimulate economic development and job creation by incentivizing long-term investments in some of our nation's neediest areas. Investors can defer tax on gains made up to 10 years and then receive significant tax incentives thereafter on businesses that they help create in that opportunity zone. There are more than 8,700 qualified opportunity zones around the country, including 156 right here in this state of Indiana. I always like to remind people that opportunity zones are not a government program. It is not a top-down dictum. Rather, they are truly a unique way to transform some of our country's urban and rural communities. And yes, they are achieving success Recently, the Council of Economic Advisors issued a report that highlighted some of the successes of the initiative to date, and they're worth noting. Opportunity zones are on track to create 500,000 new jobs. They are on track to lift 1 million people out of poverty. And as of the end of 2019, they have attracted over $78 billion in investments to underserved communities. Let me make that clear. That's $78 billion, not taxpayer dollars, private incentive dollars that would have been invested elsewhere were it not for opportunity zones. We at the Department of Commerce have been encouraging local developers to think of opportunity zones as a new arrow for their quiver, a new tool to encourage public-private partnerships. And that will drive private investment to qualified areas, both for economic and social benefit. EDA's mission fits hand in glove with the purpose and goal of opportunity zones, as both are focused on this driving transformative investment into these communities. Clearly, opportunity zones can and will jumpstart new life into neighborhoods, and EDA is a willing partner. And today, EDA can announce that this is our first opportunity zone investment in the state of Indiana, and Vincennes is yet again a first. Nationally, we've invested as EDA $600 million in 420 opportunity zone projects, and it's growing. And as I said, Vincennes is just the latest. We hope this investment here at the Pantheon will provide you a new tool to attract new private sector dollars to your area. With some thoughtful planning, you'll be amazed by what can happen. So in closing, on behalf of President Trump and Commerce Secretary Ross, we congratulate you on your hard work to get to this point. These grants take planning and communication and commitment. Your community stepped up, and we're pleased to be your partner today. I know that you will overcome the current challenges we all face, including COVID. This grant today will provide you being one step closer to being well-positioned to create new economic prosperity right here in Vincennes and Knox County. So again, my congratulations to everyone today. I wish you the very best moving forward. Thank you, and God bless. I'm going to invite Mayor Yoakum to come up and share some comments now. How are you, Mayor?
Good morning, and on behalf of the city, Mr. Gartzke, welcome. I cannot tell you how excited we are that you are here to present this grant to us. It's exciting to add you to the partnership that has brought this to being, working with IEDC, the Vincennes Redevelopment Commission, KCDC, city and county government. More importantly, the citizens and business owners of our community and our county have all come together and made this possible. It's like I always say, when everybody works together, it's amazing what you can come up with and what you can produce. And this is just a perfect example of that. This grant is actually going to help finish the exterior of this building. And it's kind of like putting the icing on the cake. When the exterior is done, it's going to be amazing. We'll have the marquee put back out there. You know, a marquee that used to be on the front of this building that had names of talent like singers, performers, actors that performed here. Hopefully in the future, or not hopefully, in the future, we will have new talent on that marquee, and that will be our own residents, our own youth that are going to develop their ideas and turn them into businesses and grow. That's going to benefit all of Vincennes and Knox County. And I'm sure all their ideas and their developments aren't only going to change this city and this county, it's going to change the world. There's going to be stuff that comes out of here that makes a difference in the world, worldwide, whether it be with agriculture or whatever. It's going to make a big difference So with that, I just want to say again, thank you very much. Thank you to everybody that's here that is working to make this come about. And we promise we'll take that money and you will be proud of what we do with it. Thank you.
What a wonderful day. I'm Bob Lechner, President of the Knox County Council, and I'm here today on behalf of the county. And it's my honor to represent the Knox County Council, represent all the citizens of Knox County. I want to recognize those county council members. I know some are here and some are not, but we have Randy Crismore, Jay Yoakum, Kevin Meyer, David Culp, Harry Nolting, Rich Chatton. I don't know if our council is here. I didn't see him. Drew Porter. He spent an awful lot of time and effort helping us along the way and helping us do it the right way. So on behalf of all of the county council, the elected officials, you mentioned Trent earlier, thank you for coming. We appreciate that. And just a few blocks away from here, Mr. Gartzke, is the George Rogers Clark Memorial. George Rogers Clark captured the fort in 1779 and opened up the entire Northwest at that point in time. It was a major moment in our national history. Just adjacent to the memorial is the first church in the state of Indiana, and it was established in 1732. And the basilica, which is there, has currently been on that site since 1826. If we go just a few blocks north from here, you had mentioned William Henry Harrison, our 9th president, and his home is, again, just a few blocks from here. Just next to the Harrison home is the historic Wabash River. And surrounded on all sides are rivers, bounding in some of the most productive agricultural cropland in the state of Indiana. I mention this because this is Knox County. Welcome. This is who we are. This is our history, our present, and with the assistance of yourself, the EDA, Department of Commerce, and the administration, our future. I was going to comment that we were in the middle of an opportunity zone. I wasn't sure if you'd be aware of that, but you were. Well, none of my remarks, I'll veer off for a second, because I'm happy to hear that we were first in Indiana. I was not aware of that. But I want you to assure you and to take back to your colleagues in Washington that we are already well on our way to take advantage of that. We are partnered with 2 National Science Foundation award projects. They will occur here in part in Vincennes and in the Pantheon. We will house Purdue students and interns who will be working on those. So again, it's trying to take all the tools that you and the Department of Commerce have given us to try to improve our community. So with the history surrounding us as a backdrop, and with an abundance of natural resources, those being the productive cropland I just mentioned. We were surrounded by water, by water on all sides. One of the benefits we have is we have one of the largest aquifers in the entire country. And with an abundance of energy. We have solar energy. We have natural gas, we have coal, and we have oil. And so I think we are positioned in every way for our future in terms of natural resources. And our partnerships. Many of these have been mentioned already, but it's worth mentioning again. Certainly Purdue University, the Purdue Foundry, the Davidson School of Chemical Engineering. And I did notice that you started your career in engineering. So we are very tightly aligned, particularly with the Davidson School of Chemical Engineering at Purdue University, but also with the Purdue Department of Agriculture, and along with their entire engineering department. In addition to that, as we've mentioned, the IEDC, the KCDC, and now with the U.S. Department of Commerce. Mr. Gartzke, I know that one reason that we were successful in obtaining this award was because of what you and Kyle refer to, I think, as the uniqueness of a city and a county working together, rolling up our sleeves, and as you were talking about the quivers in our arrow, well, we took a few of those arrows. I must confess, it has not always been easy, and has not always been for lack of a controversy, but it has all been worth it, particularly with this day, and with the recognition from the U.S. Department of Commerce that you believe in our project. That means a lot. And finally, I want to conclude with once again thanking you so much for your time here, for your confidence in our project, and for the future of our children. And with the future of our children comes indeed the future of our community. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Matt Sword. I'm with Southern Indiana Development Commission. Worked with the city and the county on this project. And first off, I'd like to congratulate Vincennes, Knox County, and the Pantheon on this award. I know that you've put a lot of hard work, time, and effort into this project, so again, congratulations. I would also like to thank EDA for funding this project and understanding the importance this project has, not just to Vincennes and Knox County, but to the entire region, so thank you. Today marks a milestone for the Pantheon Business and Innovation Theater. Just as a milestone was achieved 100 years ago as the original construction of this building was completed. The Pantheon Theater was the centerpiece of a thriving downtown and was the only venue in the area that could handle large Broadway shows. Located halfway between Cincinnati and St. Louis, the Pantheon quickly became a stopping point for such acts as the Marx Brothers, Duke Ellington, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Sally Rand, and Vincennes' very own Red Skelton. Fast forward to today, and the Pantheon once again becomes the centerpiece of an evolving downtown to promote entrepreneurship and serve as an economic development hub for the region. As we know, Southwest Indiana faces many challenges. According to the 2019 SIDC Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or CEDS, our region's population is in decline and is expected to increase at only half the rate of Indiana during the report period. Educational attainment within the region is both an asset and a challenge. The region has a high percentage of high school to associate degrees, but lags behind the state in the proportion of residents 25 years old and older holding four-year or graduate level degrees. The region's workforce and workplace pipeline is shrinking as the region trends behind the rest of Indiana in terms of the percentage of residents between 20 and 34. Evidence that as people enter their 20s, they are choosing to leave in larger numbers than those that choose to stay or relocate to the region. Statistics such as these show why the Pantheon Business and Innovation Theater is so important. This investment will facilitate new business startups, growth of existing businesses, retention of youth, recruitment of talent and business, and provide an entrepreneurial ecosystem to create greater prosperity that includes an increase in jobs, income, and wealth. The proposed project meets the goals of our SEDS and will enhance the region's quality of life, capitalize on regional industry assets, and strengthen regional collaboration. The economic development or the economic benefit of meeting these goals includes attracting a highly skilled workforce to the region, increased wages in key industry clusters, including agribusiness and food processing, advanced materials and transportation equipment manufacturing, as well as defense and energy. This project will promote regional collaboration by maintaining and cultivating partnerships that include KCDC, Purdue School of Chemical Engineering, Purdue Foundry, and Purdue at Westgate, just to name a few. In closing, Red Skelton credited the Pantheon Theater with being his inspiration for going into show business. With the transformation of the Pantheon Business and Innovation Theater, Vincennes and Knox County are presented with an opportunity to inspire the next generation of entrepreneur and small business owner. So again, congratulations, and I look forward to working with everybody on this project.
Good morning. My name is Drew Garrettson. On behalf of the Pantheon Board of Directors, just wanted to say a quick thank you. Tell a quick story. And about a year ago, I called Nicole, who is in charge of this entire project here locally, with the effort of actually getting my name in a spot for a co-working space as a work-from-home employee. I was eager to find a place outside of my home office that I can be that I could call my office. And about 15 minutes into that call, Nicole had asked me if I would be interested in helping serve the Pantheon in a couple different efforts. And at that, I left that call, 30 minutes later, chairing a committee for the Pantheon on behalf of agriculture, which I'm excited to serve, and now am on the board of directors and certainly excited to help serve. So on behalf of the Pantheon, the board of directors, we just simply want to say thank you. Thank you to EDA, to the city of Vincennes, to Knox County, SIDC, and KCDC. We certainly appreciate the partnership, and I could not be more proud of being a member of a community with this that has this type of leadership, that has this vision that to really turn our community into what I believe will be we will set the standard of the small city in our rural communities across the state of Indiana. About a month ago, we hosted the CEO of AgriNovus, Mitch Frazier, into the Pantheon. We spent a day with Mitch here across the county, showing him some of our agricultural assets. And one of the very first comments that he made is, that the Pantheon will be the center of energy within this community, and we could not have done that without the bold leadership of our leaders in this county and the opportunities that were put forth by that. So we're very grateful for those things, and on behalf of the Pantheon, thank you to everybody for coming today, and also for certainly the contributions that EDA will make to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. And I appreciate you calling me that day. So be careful if you call me, you might end up with a job. Remember that. We owe a debt of gratitude to the Department of Commerce and EDA for your generous gift and your vote of confidence in this project. It truly means a lot to us in this community. It has been a long road. It's been a hard road at times, but I think, as several of you have echoed, it's all going to be worth it. It's all going to be worth it. We just got to stick together and move forward and keep looking up. So, and I thank you for this encouraging gift, and we will do great things with it. I promise you that. So, thank you. Thank you, Dana and Garth, for coming today and seeing our beautiful community. We hope that you feel welcome. And we hope you'll come back once the project is done to see the fruits of all your labor and your help. So thank you. You have an amazing team in Chicago, by the way. Kyle Darton whom I met about a year ago today. It was about this time of year. I was introduced to Kyle Darton by Mark Waskey from the IEDC. I was up in Indianapolis, Steve Miller and I, who's on my board, and Steve introduced me to Mark, and Mark said, I need to get you in touch with the Chicago EDA office, Kyle Darton. And so we had a call a week later, and we started this process and called SIDC, and we're here today. So thank you again, and great team. Have enjoyed working with Kyle. So I also want to thank a few more people who have made all this possible. First, our founder and our visionary, Steve Miller, who couldn't be here today. He had obligations out of town. This is actually his dream and his work we're celebrating today. He's a guy who never takes no for an answer, who works hard, who pushes all of us to work hard, and I just want to make sure that he gets credit today for the Pantheon. Thank you also to INVEN and for the former members of INVEN who are here today. I know Eli's here and anyone else is here. I know you guys, you got a hold of these buildings, you secured these buildings and made this possible. So thank you. Thank you for your financial contributions to your community. This is truly a grassroots effort here. It's not a top-down government effort. It was a group of people getting together and saying, how can we solve a problem in our community? And they did it. So thank you. It's inspiring. I want to thank SIDC, Greg Jones, Matt Sward, and Rhonda Rumble specifically. They worked many hours on this project, doing the diligence, the things that go in behind the scenes on one of these applications. I know you're familiar with, they can be very rigorous, and they helped me every step of the way, and we were on the phone a lot and on email a lot, so thank you guys for guiding us through this process. I also want to thank Eric Pages, who developed the feasibility study for us. He couldn't be here today. He's actually in Virginia. That's where he's from, but he has been a huge resource and help along the way. Dr. Jason Sahlstrom, who's here from Westgate at Crane with Purdue University Foundry. And actually, Jason, if you don't mind standing up, because not everybody knows you. I hate to put you on the spot, but Jason is going to be our entrepreneur in residence here at the Pantheon. Sharp guy. He's been a great resource, and I know he'll continue to bring good things to our community. So everybody should get to know Jason Sahlstrom here. So thank you for coming today, Jason, and thanks for your help during this process. I appreciate it. For the members of the Knox County Council, thank you. Thank you for your ongoing support. For the members of the City Council, Vincennes City Council, thank you for being here. Thanks for the support. It's great to see everybody coming together. Mayor Yoakum, of course, thank you for your continued support. And the Knox County Commissioners. Trent, I appreciate you being here today. It takes a whole community to get something like this done. We all know that. I also don't want to forget about the Vincennes RDC. Thank you, Tim Smith, for coming today. They've also contributed to this project. And I just want to say that the community really deserves to be commended for coming together. And even when it was tough, even when it was hard, to do the right thing. A quote by Winston Churchill came to mind this morning when I was thinking about what we've done here. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And I think that just about sums up our project here. Even when people doubt you, when they say it won't work, when they say we can't do these sorts of big things in our community, to have the courage to push forward and to do it anyway. To do the right thing anyway, no matter the cost. So, thank you all. I hope you will all stay for a picture. By the way, I've been given orders that by Garth here with the EDA that, excuse me, he would like to get a picture of everybody, so don't anybody run away. And I would also like to invite you, if you would like to have a tour of the Pantheon afterwards, I'd be happy to take anyone on a tour. So thank you again, and can we please give a round of applause again for the EDA officials who attended.